Hey, what's up, YouTube? Just want to talk a little bit about the proposed $15 an hour minimum wage hike that the president has signed an executive order on and that Congress is trying to pass a bill on. Um, it's not going to do what you guys think it's going to do, and let me explain why. When a company is required to pay more in payroll overhead, i.e., a $15 an hour minimum wage as opposed to the lower one that it's at right now, they will have to make up that money somewhere. The CEO or the owner of the company is not going to take a cut out of his own paycheck and say, "Okay, I'll take a cut out of my paycheck so my workers can get paid more." If that was the case, they could have done that a long time ago, and people would have been making more money anyway. But that's not the case. We all know that. If that's how Bezos became as rich as he is, that's how Bill Gates became as rich as he is, that's how Elon Musk became as rich as he is. It's they take a salary from what they do, and they're not going to give that up for Joe middle class worker Smith. They're not going to do it. So what they're going to do instead is they will raise the prices of their product or their goods or their services and make it up that way, which means in the end you used to pay, we'll say, $8 for a Big Mac. Now you're probably going to pay 12. You used to pay $3 for a gallon of milk. Now you're going to pay 6. It used to cost you $29.95 a day for a car rental, but now it's going to cost you $49.95 a day for car rental because these companies are going to have to raise their prices to compensate for the minimum wage that just got raised up on them. Either that, or they will cut labor, so they don't have as many people to pay, or they don't have to pay so many hours to somebody. You'll find that a lot of full time jobs are going to instantly switch to part time because the employers are not going to want to pay the overtime on $15 an hour. These are just it's not anything partisan. It's not anything discriminatory. It's just the way economics runs. There's got to be something to pay for the expenditure you're putting out. Um, if you've got a company and you're gonna have an accounts receivable and accounts payable section in your checkbook. Your accounts receivable is all the money that's coming in for the products or the services you sell. The accounts payable is your payroll, your bills, your overhead, rent, vehicle maintenance, expenses, any of that stuff. But payroll is a major part of that because employers are required to pay you a certain amount of money per hour. And if you work over a certain number of hours, they have to pay you overtime. And I don't know whether that's time and a half or double time. It all depends on the company and the jurisdiction they're in. But with federal minimum wage being raised to $15 an hour, it's going to cost the employers and the companies a pretty penny. So they're going to compensate for it somewhere. Like I said, either by raising prices or cutting labor. Um, and at the end of the day, the only entity that gains from a raise in minimum wage is the IRS because you're paying a certain percentage of your income in taxes. It doesn't cost the government anything for you to work more hours or less hours or one job over another job. It doesn't cost the government anything for you to make more money. They want you to make more money because that way they can tax you more. So now, instead of paying taxes on your minimum wages at its current rate, you're going to be paying taxes on $15 an hour, which, like I said, the government's going to get more money from you. Your expenses are going to go up. It's going to be essentially the same thing for you, but you're going to be paying more in taxes. So you really need to think hard before you get behind this $15 an hour raise. Um, I know it's real easy for the high school kids to demand this $15 an hour and not worry about it because they don't have the home expenses. They're not paying rent. They're not paying utilities. They're not paying for fuel in their parents' vehicles. They're not paying insurance on their parents' vehicles. Um, they're, it's not really a skin off their nose. So I can understand, I totally understand why a 16-year-old high school kid working at McDonald's is screaming for the $15 an hour raise, because they're going to make more money and they don't have to pay income taxes, so they don't have to worry about paying more in income taxes. So it's just more money for them. But for anybody of the age of 18 and older who actually do pay income taxes and do have day-to-day expenses, it's going to hurt them, and it's going to hurt them bad. And I really don't think anybody realizes just how bad it's going to hurt. So um, please call your congressional representatives and ask them to turn down a raise in minimum wage to $15 an hour, because like I said, you're gonna go from paying $3 for a gallon of milk to about $6 for a gallon of milk, and the services you get, the price is gonna go up, or you're gonna lose your job to a layoff for a reduction in force layoff. It's just not good. Have a good night.